I just, selfishly was just like, where are my girls? And I couldn't find them.
Parents painfully recount the moment that changed their lives forever. Tonight, a community is coming together in Minnesota after a shooter opened fire on children praying in a school church. Good evening. I'm Christine Johnson. Bullets shattered stained glass windows, and the shooter's gun was aimed at students in pews at Annunciation Catholic School. 2 children were killed and 17 other people were hurt. The shooter then took their own life. That person is now identified as Robin Westman. The FBI investigating the shooting as an act of terrorism and a hate crime against Catholics. Usher Quraishi live in Minneapolis for us tonight with the latest. Usher.
Christine, it was only the 3rd day of school for students at Annunciation Catholic School. Today began with worship, but ended in tragedy. Annunciation Catholic Church turned to chaos Wednesday morning when a shooter opened fire during Mass. The church is on the same grounds of a school that bears its name, home to pre-K through 8th grade. Police say the suspect fired dozens of rounds through church windows. 2 children aged 8 and 10 were fatally shot while they sat in the church pews. 14 children and 3 adult parishioners were also wounded but are expected to survive.
The dozens of officers that responded to this scene, many of them are deeply traumatized by what they saw.
10-year-old Weston Halsney was seated near the stained glass windows when the shots rang out.
My friend Victor, saved me, though, because he laid on top of me.
Police identified the shooter as 23-year-old Robin Westman. Law enforcement says Westman acted alone and had no criminal history and obtained 3 firearms legally. Sources tell CBS News Westman had been a student at the school. His mother previously worked there. Law enforcement is aware of videos the shooter timed to publish on YouTube, which showed journal entries that described plans for an attack on children, expressed suicidal thoughts, and referenced other mass shootings. The Archbishop of St. Paul in Minneapolis shared a message from Pope Leo XIV.
And he sends his heartfelt condolences and the assurance of spiritual closeness to all those affected by this terrible tragedy.
A vigil was held for the victims Wednesday night. But city leaders say thoughts and prayers are not enough.
The amount of grief that they are feeling, the pain, this is their worst day of their entire life. While thoughts and prayers are great, they are not adequate.
The nation's latest school shooting is likely to reignite the debate over gun control. The chief of police says the shooter legally purchased the rifle, shotgun, and pistol that were recovered at the scene. Christine?
Usher Quraishi live for us in Minneapolis with an update. Thank you, Usher. And here in New York, flags are flying at half-staff at City Hall. The mayor directing all flags to be lowered in honor of the victims. Allie Bauman spoke with parents and also churchgoers in our area. She joins us now to continue our team coverage. Allie?
Christine, the NYPD tells us at this time there is no known threat to New York City nor nexus to the attack in Minneapolis. But out of an abundance of caution, the department has deployed additional resources and patrols at houses of worship, specifically churches across the city. More than 1,000 miles away from the Minneapolis church, where 2 children were killed Wednesday, parishioners walk into Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan in pain.
Just heartbreak, honestly. It worries me how fragile our safety is in this country.
Susan Evans and her husband came here to pray for the victims and for their sanctuary.
All of a sudden, it's like we have nowhere to go now because we don't feel safe even in a church.
Timothy Cardinal Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, saying in part, once again, we are shocked and horrified by the news of another senseless shooting. This time, all the more disturbing because it happened at a Catholic church and school, which should always be sanctuaries of peace.
If it was religiously motivated, we'll pray for those people and, hopefully we have less, religiously motivated actions like this going forward.
Those anguished faces painted on the parents outside Minnesota's Annunciation Catholic Church are too familiar to Mark Barden.
Each time it happens, and we see this happening over and over again, it's the same. It's the same impact, the same grief and heartbreak and anger.
Barden's son Daniel was among the 20 children killed in Sandy Hook Elementary School 13 years ago. As a founder of Sandy Hook Promise, he now educates teachers, parents, and students on warning signs of potential violence.
Everybody has to be part of understanding those warning signs. This is not inevitable, and we know that there are almost always warning signs, and those are opportunities to intervene and prevent it from happening.
And Barden says those trainings that Sandy Hook Promise does have prevented 18 planned school shootings. Christine?
Making a difference there, Allie. Thank you. Local schools are opening soon, and safety protocols differ from district to district. Technologies emerging in recent years include silent panic buttons and digital mapping of campuses. While some states mandate schools have both, in New York, it's only required that schools consider both.
Meeting with various vendors on a regular basis, looking at some of the technology that you've mentioned and more.
Unfortunately, these systems are required given today's environment that we live in.
And then on Long Island today, Nassau County officials announced a new strategic response unit within the police department. They say it's a new specialized force which will be deployed across the county, including schools next week. Flags are also flying at half-staff at the White House. President Trump ordered them lowered at federal buildings and military locations through Sunday evening. Do stay with CBS News New York for continuing coverage on the Minneapolis school shooting. You can also look for updates on CBSNewYork.com.